It's CCSD Today with your host, Erica Taylor. This week, hear our exclusive interview with Acting Superintendent Mr. Michael Bobby. Learn about the Minority Vendor Initiative from Mr. Wayne Wilcher. And watch as we surprise December's Teacher of the Month. CCSD Today starts right now.
Hi, you're watching another edition of CCSD Today. I'm your host, Erica Taylor. We're down at 75 Calhoun Street, and during this show, you'll have an opportunity to meet Acting Superintendent Mr. Michael Bobby and learn about some exciting district initiatives. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I'm Jenna Dewan Tatum.
I'm Julia Ormond.
I'm Machen Amick.
And I'm Rachel Boston.
Every 2 minutes, a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer.
Breast cancer will claim over 39,000 lives this year, but that won't be me.
Or me.
I won't let that be me.
The end of breast cancer starts with me.
And you.
And you.
And you.
Go to mylifetime.com to get informed and involved.
Brought to you by Cruise Chevy. You've got a friend in the car business.
Hi, you're watching CCSD Today, and I'm your host, Erica Taylor. And I'm so excited. This is going to be a great show today as we get ready to celebrate the holidays. Joining me is Acting Superintendent, Mr. Michael Bobby. Mr. Bobby, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Well, the last, 2-3 weeks have been a whirlwind for us, but we appreciate you serving as our Acting Superintendent. And so I'm sure there are those inquiring minds who want to know who is Mr. Michael Bobby. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, I have to say that this is a very humbling time for me personally. We came to Charleston 7 years ago and never came thinking that this was going to be an outcome.
Right.
And it's been a very interesting time, to say the least. I've been here in Charleston now 7 years.
Okay.
Dr. McGinley hired me and brought me here as a Chief Finance and Operations Officer. And over the time that I've been here, we've had the chance to include in our areas of responsibility things like human resources and information technology. And now we have folded capital projects in with the retirement of Bill Lewis, as we've all honored him in the past few months.
Right.
So the different kinds of experiences I've had here have been just wonderful.
Right.
Always a challenge, always something else that we look forward to improving or creating. I think that's part of the excitement and the dynamics of our district, is that we don't sit still, we don't try just to retain and maintain the status quo. We want to make things better.
Absolutely.
And we look at it every day as a way to deliver a better product for those that we serve. First and foremost, our 48,000 children, and then the rest of our county, our taxpayers, our parents, our guardians, everyone who's invested in our school district.
Right. So you have, and I'm not going to, talk about your age, but you have, I've heard you say 25, 30 years worth of educational experience. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I've been a lifelong career. I've had a lifelong career in education, beginning back around age 22. I actually am a trained teacher and administrator. I taught high school mathematics in 3 different high schools, and I taught junior high mathematics. And probably the most important experience that I've had in my career is the 5 years I spent teaching mathematics in an alternative high school.
Great.
We had 9th and 10th graders at the time. Every one of our 100 to 120 students in that district were destined to be dropouts. They were the highest at-risk population within the school district. That school district at the time was about a district of about 12,000 students.
Okay.
And we took these students in when they were not doing well in their home high school and gave them another opportunity, created a new environment. And there were just so many things that we learned then that we can apply today as we think about how to deliver things that we today call differentiated instruction or personalized learning. I was kidding somebody the other day that we did personalized learning in the ancient way without mobile devices and computers, but we individualized it completely, and we met the student where they were academically, and we built from that point forward, which is what we're trying to do all across the district today, but we're doing it with current technology and modern devices. The success of that program was phenomenal.
Right.
As I said, we looked at these students as dropouts that if nothing changed, we wouldn't see them successfully complete their high school experience. After coming through and spending a couple of years with us, that program began to generate over 80% graduation rates for children that weren't expected to graduate.
Right.
They were either credit deficient, they were over age, they had other issues, anything that you could imagine that a child could bring with them as a problem, as a challenge. We had those in our student population. So that's where my background, that's where my values about education and how we should provide for our students really developed.
Right.
Since that time, I was asked a few years ago, more than a few years ago, to step out of the classroom and take on some new challenges. I became a business manager at one point, and then in other districts, all of this in Ohio, in other districts I served as business manager, assistant superintendent, assistant to the superintendent, quality assurance manager. I don't even remember all the different things I did and the titles over the years, but
Right.
the experiences were vast, and they weren't always on just the business and support side.
Right.
We did a lot of professional development of our teaching staff and administrators with respect to how they can improve what they're doing in schools.
And their support.
Things like, we talk about school renewal plans today, we talk about school reform. There we talked about continuous improvement and how we teach our staff, our principals and our teachers how to use different tools with their students
Right.
to be able to improve what they do on a daily basis. So that was an experience that really has just led to where we are today. It brought me here to South Carolina. I came about 10 years ago,
Okay.
landed in Richland 1 in Columbia, spent 2 years there and enjoyed it. It was a tremendous introduction to South Carolina. I had, again, I would say this is true everywhere I've been. I've always found that I've had tremendous people to work with
Right.
and for. I have been blessed with tremendous supervisors and bosses who have allowed me to learn and have given me opportunity to grow professionally. And that's been a takeaway for me as I've gone through my career. And I've realized how important it is to remember that we are in the people development business, whether it's adults in our jobs. We spend most of our time with adults as well as our children in the classroom. That's what we do. And so as I think about how this career path has taken shape, I would say that 30 years ago I never imagined where it would take me. One of the things that I've learned over time too, Erica, is that I've stopped thinking about what the next job's going to be. I did that long ago. And I'll tell you what's happened over the years is I've never once said, I want that job, and then ended up with that job.
Right.
Instead, what I found out through some experience and through some disappointments is this, that if you keep your head down, you do the job that you've got to the very best of your ability, and you're not afraid to grab on to other things that need to be done, even if they aren't yours to do.
Right.
But if it needs to be done, grab onto them, find a way to get them done, improve what you're doing around you for everybody else that you serve. And in the end, certain things come together and the next step happens.
Right.
It's an evolution. And I firmly believe that. I don't think anymore about career path planning. I just think about doing what we're given to do now and doing the very best you can with it. And ultimately, if there's divine intervention and all that, I suspect some would say that there is. Perhaps that's what's happening, but that's how we are where we are right now.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us, and I'm sure that our viewers know a little bit more about Mr. Michael Bobby. So talk to me a little bit about what this acting period, interim period, transitional period looks like. I mean, how does it feel to you? What can we expect?
Well, first of all, we're planning on building upon what we have done to this point.
Absolutely.
We know that we are always going to be faced with challenges. We know that we still have differences and achievements between different groups of our students that we don't accept as reasonable as our final outcome. We know that we have schools that we still want to see perform at a higher level with respect to their students and their performance. So we know that we have challenges ahead of us, yet we went into this year like we have every year in the past 7 I've been here, with a clear picture of what we needed to accomplish, what we were going to use to measure those accomplishments, and expect to be held accountable for those particular goals. They're still in place. And the one thing that we've been trying to share with all of our staff and all of our interested community members and our students is that with the change in leadership, it's not bringing a change in our focus.
Right.
Our focus will remain the same. Our focus will continue to be, what do we have to do to continue to improve what happens with our students? And as long as we stay focused on that and we recognize that we're not stopping any of that work.
Right.
In fact, I would say this, that once asked to assume this role, and having gone through the extremely difficult 12 hours in deliberating about how to respond, once that decision was made, I also made a decision that it's not just going to be about filling the seat. We're going to do everything we can to accelerate our improvement. We're not going to wait for what will happen in the future. I'm sure that over time, our board will deliberate and determine how to proceed in naming a permanent superintendent. But as long as we're in this role as acting superintendent, we're not going to just warm the seat. We're going to try to keep the expectations high. We're going to continue to try to raise the bar in terms of what we're doing as a district. And that cascades all the way down to what happens at every desk, at every child's classroom with that teacher.
Well, you know, I think that especially those who are watching are going to be excited to hear that. And I think that they are going to be committed to continue the work at an accelerated pace. And so on November 14th, we got some great news that we shared. And just talk to us a little bit about the report card rating and how excellent we are.
Well, you're right. We had a press conference to celebrate, and I think we had quite a celebration that day. And in fact, we celebrated across the county, and we know that because we've been with a number of different groups since then, how important it is for everybody who is invested in our district to know that they can now say that we not only have excellence as our standard, but the most current rating from the state says that we indeed are an excellent school district. And that is certainly something to be proud of, and it's a celebration of work that has been in place and been ongoing for years. We think back to the last 10 years, this was put in place over a period of time under Dr. McGinley's leadership, and we are celebrating the results of all of that work, all of the efforts that went in to make that happen. We have to thank thousands of staff members, community members, parents who are invested in their child's education. Everyone has had a part of that. Our community partners, our mayors, our delegation, they're all interested in seeing us be successful for so many reasons. First and foremost, because it means something in terms of our students. It means that they will have a greater chance of being successful as adults once they leave our high schools and move on to whatever will come, whether it's the world of work or post-secondary education or a combination of those. Knowing that they will have a better chance to be successful is one of the things that we are about. And the other thing that we don't want to lose track of is, although our core mission is education, and therefore what our students will take away and have learned from us and with us during this experience, we're about saving lives. I've shared this in the last couple of weeks. There was an article in the paper that highlighted the tragic end to a young man's life at age 22 or 23, who 5 years earlier had been the focal point of a story talking about literacy, talking about social promotion, and talking about the issues that we had right here in Charleston with respect to children who cannot read and therefore will not be able to succeed and could not possibly be expected to finish high school. And that's right at that point in time was also the focus that we placed on literacy and numeracy and early childhood education. And we've done nothing but continue to support and grow those strategies to ensure that that tragedy at some time in the future will become extinct. It will not be around in Charleston County any longer. And I really think that we're sitting here with an excellent rating, yet that underscores the work that we must continue to do, because as long as those stories are still alive and well and being displayed, illustrating the fact that we haven't reached 100% of success, then we will continue to ask everyone who's a part of this district, and whether it's staff, whether it's our partners in our political areas or in our civic groups, wherever they are, and all of those who have spent so much time working alongside with us, we need to band even tighter together to make sure that those kinds of stories are not found in the future.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Bobby, thank you for joining me. We're going to be right back, but we'll be back with more of Mr. Michael Bobby, who's going to share some more good news with us. You're watching CCSD Today. Stay tuned.
The law firm of Young Clement Rivers has been serving the Charleston Low Country since 1968. All of the lawyers of Young Clement Rivers are proud to be partners with the Charleston County School District. We are convinced that the hard work of the school district employees and staff prepares our young people to face the challenges of the future. We look forward to continuing our partnership and in helping the school district to meet its standard of excellence.
We're back with more CCSD Today, and we're still here with Mr. Michael Bobby, Acting Superintendent for the Charleston County School District, and we're going to talk about some exciting news in his former portfolio of work. Our voters went to the polls, and they supported to a tune of about 68% of them to support the extension for our sales tax referendum. So, Mr. Bobby, I know you're excited. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, that was an exciting evening, that Tuesday night when we were all gathered and waiting for the results. We know that, right in the midst of the final 4 weeks of the campaign, there were so many different issues flying around the county that we were very concerned how our voters would view that opportunity at the polls that day.
Right.
And in the end, we were very, very pleased and very grateful that nearly 70% of all who voted chose to support a 1-penny sales tax extension. I think there were certain things that we wanted to remind everyone of. Number one, that we appreciate that support, that we hope that the confidence that was displayed by that vote is based upon years of delivering on commitments and promises in our building programs prior to this point, starting back as long ago as 2000. By the end of this current program, we will have been able to invest nearly $1.4 billion in rebuilding the infrastructure across this county for the school district.
Wow.
This extension allows us to continue that program straight through 2022. That in itself is remarkable, because now we can set in stone the work that needs to be done.
Right.
We don't have to hope that the funding will be there. We know the funding will be there, and we can continue all of the work necessary to make sure that the next series of building projects starting in 2016 will continue to roll out, that we will be providing up-to-date, state-of-the-art facilities all across this county. And the bottom line is that we're trying to make sure that the environments in which our children and our staff teach and learn are the very best possible environments, so that the physical environment is never a hindrance to the ability for students to achieve. So what we want to do is, at the end of the day, have those kind of environments available wherever you live in this county,
Right.
and that you are able to access quality experiences regardless of where you choose to live and regardless of where a child is growing up.
Right. Well, Mr. Bobby, I want to thank you for joining us, and I hope this isn't going to be your last time joining us on CCSD today. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Some problems are tough. Reaching your customers shouldn't be. Blue Wave and Comcast have the creative edge to make you stand out from the crowd and connect with your customers. Whether you need a commercial for television, video for your website, or a custom-made website, we are the easy solution for every advertising problem.
I'm Jenna Dewan Tatum.
I'm Julia Ormond.
I'm Machen Amick. And I'm Rachel Boston.
Every 2 minutes, a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer.
Breast cancer will claim over 39,000 lives this year, but that won't be me. Or me.
I won't let that be me.
The end of breast cancer starts with me.
And you.
And you.
And you.
Go to mylifetime.com to get informed and involved.
Brought to you by Cruise Subaru of Charleston. You've got a friend in the car business.
Welcome back to CCSD Today, and now joining us is Mr. Wayne Wiltshire, who's the Director of Contracts and Procurement for the Charleston County School District. Mr. Wiltshire, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about our Minority Vendors Initiative. I know a month or so back we held a summit whereby we asked minority vendors who are interested in doing work with Charleston County School District to come and learn more about it. So tell us a little bit, because I'm sure there are probably some vendors who are still out there who want to work with us, and you know, your information can help them be a part of our great team.
Okay, thank you. Well, back on October the 24th, we held this minority business fair to get vendors interested in doing work with the district and help them to overcome any obstacles that may prevent them from doing work with the district.
Right.
And our goal there is to increase the minority participation, not only in our construction program, but also in our academic programs.
Okay, so give me some examples. So that means that we can have, you know, minority vendors working on some of our building programs, as well as some who may have other businesses to provide services. Can you go in just a little bit of detail?
Okay. Well, some of our businesses here on the construction side, you know, we're looking to take some of our smaller jobs, our concrete work, our building of small offices and things of that nature. We're looking to turn those over to minority businesses, and that type of work is something that they have the capacity to do. On the academic side, our participation is real low, but we know that there are quite a few businesses that are in the professional development world, and also retirees who have done classroom work that we would like to get them back into our school district and take advantage of the knowledge that they have. We're working with kids that are in certain situations in the district.
Well, if somebody's watching and wants clarification on what a minority business is, what would we tell them?
Well, generally minority businesses, as far as the state of South Carolina goes, it's generally African American or non-Caucasian businesses. Also, women are included into that classification.
Okay, and so I know that I think a few months back, so the board made some changes that would make it, I don't want to use the word easier for minority businesses, or the threshold for which we could work with them change. Talk a little bit about that.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because what the board decided to do was give me the authority to award contracts up to $25,000 to minority businesses without competing them. And what that does is, there are a lot of contracts that we enter into that minority businesses don't have the capacity to compete with large businesses. And this in turn will allow us to go directly to them and award these smaller contracts, hoping that that would help them build the capacity to do larger contracts for us.
Well, that's great. Do you have a goal? Is there a goal in mind for minority businesses businesses to work with the district? I know that you say the number is low, but besides the fair, are there any other initiatives that you're working on to increase the participation?
Well, in the past, that we had a goal of 20%, and that was 20% certified businesses and 20% non-certified businesses.
Okay.
But the board has tasked me with going back and taking a look at that, the minority utilization plan, to determine if those goals are realistic. They may be too low or they may be too high.
Okay.
We plan to have that reviewed and back to the board by mid-January.
Okay.
And from that point, we would determine whether we need to increase that goal or to reduce it.
Okay, so if there's someone watching the show today and wanted some more information, how would they get in touch with you?
They can contact me directly or anyone in the procurement office. You can go to our website, and there's a link on our website that will provide you information for our procurement office, or once again, you can contact me directly.
Well, thank you, Mr. Wiltshire, for joining us on the show today. You're watching CCSD Today, and we'll be right back.
I'm Jenna Dewan Tatum.
I'm Julia Ormond.
I'm Machen Amick. And I'm Rachel Boston.
Every 2 minutes, a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer.
Breast cancer will claim over 39,000 lives this year, but that won't be me or me.
I won't let that be me.
The end of breast cancer starts with me.
And you.
And you.
And you.
Go to mylifetime.com to get informed and involved.
Locally sponsored by Ford. Ford is in the race for the cure.
The law firm of Young Clement Rivers has been serving the Charleston Low Country since 1968. All of the lawyers of Young Clement Rivers are proud to be partners with the Charleston County School District. We are convinced that the hard work of the school district employees and staff prepares our young people to face the challenges of the future. We look forward to continuing our partnership and in helping the school district to meet its standard of excellence.
Miss Mitchell,
Yes.
you are Charleston County School District's Teacher of the Month for the month of December. And you have been nominated by the instructional coach from the elementary learning community, Anna Yandel.
Oh, Yandel.
And I want to take a few moments to share some of the words Miss Yandel has written about you.
Sure.
The best words to describe you are dedicated, inspiring, and passionate. Ms. Yandel says she's had the pleasure of knowing you for just over a year now and considers herself a better person for this experience. You continue to seek growth, embrace change, simply for the sake of the students.
She teaches a lot of stuff like math, science, and about our future.
Whether pulling regular duties or working after school, you set an example for others to admire and follow. Your character, professionalism, and wisdom are only part of your charm.
She helps everybody. She pushes you to work. Like, she don't push you that hard, but she continues you to make you do great things, and she will help you until you know how to do it, so you could be an inventor or what you want to do, so you could become older and get a great job and everything like that.
Your expectations of yourself, the deep commitment and faith keeps us all wondering, what will you do next? It wasn't enough for you that 100% of your writers met or exceeded expectations for pass. You are diligently working for excellence in all areas. Miss Yandel's heart melts when she walks into your room. To see the pride that you develop in your students, the opportunities you take as a professional to embrace the new curriculums put forth by the district?
Yes.
These are your words. Come in and look at the workshop. I couldn't go back to whole group even if I wanted to. My students love this so much they would never let me do that.
Yes.
So, Ms. Mitchell, our hats go off to you for your many years of dedicated professionalism to CCSD. So we at Charleston County School District, we want to present you with this plaque, Teacher of the Month.
Oh, wow.
And we would also like to present you with a gift card to a local restaurant.
Oh, wow. Thank you much.
And a poinsettia.
Oh, wow. Thank you so
thank you
much.
for all you do.
And I tell my children this every single day. And I work hard, and I expect them to work hard. And that's my motto. That's it. And we have fun. We laugh a lot. We do fun things. We have fun. And I think learning should always be fun.
We are
Here's a question for you. What does this look like? It may look like a blank screen, but it's really an opportunity for you to reach your customers. With a great television commercial, video for your website, or website design, Comcast and Blue Wave Productions can create the right message to get you noticed. Call today and take the opportunity to make your business stand out from the crowd.
So there you have it, another exciting show. Thank you so much for watching CCSD today. We appreciate all the support that you provide to Charleston County School District. See you soon.